Hello guys and welcome, it is ThatSrb2DUDE here today bringing you yet another Splatoon 2 video because Nintendo and the Splatoon 2 developers finally decided to give us the Splatoon 2 2.3 patch notes, which was scheduled for February. They held this off for the very last day. We had no word of when the patch was going to be released and we all just were told that it was going to be at the end of February. And they didn't tell us that it was going to be at the very last day of February because everyone was kind of saying there's 2 days left of February, so when's this patch coming out? Like, it better come out soon because February, there's not a lot of days left in February. But anyways, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to go briefly over the patch notes that we have been received. Patch notes are from a Reddit user known as Nimted, so let's get started. The aerospray's number of ink droplets from shots has been increased, meaning that the aerospray, I guess, shooting at its regular fire rate produces more droplets when it's shooting. For the 52 ground, the inaccuracy of the first shot has been decreased. The time it takes until shots become more inaccurate has also been increased. So basically, for the, I guess, first 2 seconds, 5 seconds, however many seconds, short amount of time of when the 52 gal is shooting, it is the most accurate, but when it's shot for a long time, it becomes more inaccurate. Basically, that's what that means. For the jet squelcher, its jump inaccuracy has been decreased by 20%, meaning while jumping with the jet squelcher, you are more accurate, which is pretty nice to have. For the Clash Blaster, the time between shots has been decreased by 2 frames, meaning that the Clash Blaster shoots 2 frames faster. It's a very, very small difference, but if you put into consideration that how fast the Clash Blaster actually shoots, you know, it may seem something a little bit variable. Like, the Clash Blaster in general is a 4-shot kill with indirect hit, so basically you'd be killing that person in about 8 frames faster, which when you think about it that way is pretty decent. It's not shown on these patch notes, but on the official Nintendo of Japan's patch notes, it also says that the Clash Blaster has, I guess, reduced painting power as well, just because of this buff. The L3 Nozzlenose bullet speed increased by 25% without changing the range. Honestly, really good buff. Makes the L3 more consistent. You don't have to lead your shots as much as you have to do in, I guess, version 2.2. And with that, it should be able to take out opponents much faster just because of it. The H3 Nozzlenose, on the other hand, has a pretty insane buff. Jump shots are no longer inaccurate, and the ground where the shots land ink more. So basically, the H3 paints a lot more, and it is pretty much 100% accurate when jumping. There is basically no shot RNG with this weapon, which may help this in a lot of different situations. For the Carbon Roller, the distance where the horizontal fling does max damage has been increased by 35%. Really nice carbon buff. At times when using the horizontal fling with the carbon, I felt like I was like right up in someone's face and it just basically doesn't do any damage. But with this, that actually might help that issue because the 35% increase is pretty significant. I'm interested to see how carbon may be played in the future. For the E-liter, the shot speed has been increased by 50% when it's in a full charge without the range being changed. Please buff the range of the E-liter. I mean, personally, I don't know how this is going to play out with it being 50% faster in, I guess, a full charge shot. Honestly, it's nice, of course, it's nice to have. It means that you don't have to lead your shots as much as you used to before. Because a lot of the time, I felt like I had to put my reticle in front of the person to actually hit the shot at full range. But with this, all you need to do is make sure that it's on the person. So in that aspect, it makes it a little bit more consistent. But still, buff the range. I just want like 5%, 10% more range, maybe. I don't know. But I just feel like the E-liter should be able to shoot far. That's what I'm saying. For the mini Splatling, the time until ink recovery starts after shooting has been decreased by 10 frames. This means that you can recover ink much faster after you finish shooting with the mini Splatling, which is pretty nice to have, not gonna lie. It pretty much helps you out a bunch if you run out of ink completely and you're wanting to recover ink after you've been shooting. So in those types of situations, very helpful. For the Hydra Splatling, the duration of shooting has been increased by 25%. Very significant. I've actually been reading up into a couple things that the Hydra Splatling may be able to shoot for almost 7 seconds, basically, or 6.75 seconds, but pretty much rounded up, 7 seconds basically. Which is, for a full charge shot, that is a long time. There's a lot of ink being shot out. Just because of that, it definitely sets it apart from all the other Splatlings, especially the Heavy, because I kind of felt like that the Heavy and Hydra had like somewhat similar shooting time, but the Hydra is now kind of in its own league of being a splatling, so really, really interesting. For the dually sculpture, the inaccuracy of shots when having 2 reticles has been decreased by 20%, meaning when you're just kind of running around with the dually sculpture, you are 20% more accurate. Very, very nice with the dual sculpture. Overall makes it more consistent. Like, honestly, I felt like from the last buff that dually sculpture has been much more consistent, but with this, makes it even more consistent. So really, really nice. Not gonna lie, I really like the dually sculpture as well. So I look forward to actually, taking advantage of that. The undercover brother got a buff. Its buff area increased. It basically got a painting buff. When the weapon was already amazing already, he had painting. So I still think maybe the shield should be just a little bit stronger, just a tad bit stronger. Maybe give it a little bit more range as well. Those are the types of things I would do with it. But it basically is a really, really good painting weapon now. So in that aspect, cool. If it is just meant for that, that's cool. But I still think it should have a little bit better killing potential. So that's all for the main weapons. We're going to get to the one sub-weapon, which is beacons. Enemies that are now nearby a beacon will show up onto the map. Now, what this means is that when enemies are near your own beacons, they'll be shown on the map to tell you that, hey, one of your beacons are about to be destroyed. This depends, of course, if you have the map up or not. It's really, really helpful because it dictates whether you want to jump to the beacon or not. Because beforehand, once you put up the map, you couldn't exactly tell if someone was actually there camping your beacon. So with that, it tells you that, okay, it's not safe to jump to this beacon, so I'm not going to do it. Now, 3 specials got buffed. For the tenta missiles, you can now swim in the ink while using your tenta missiles, or not using it as you're shooting it, but like once you've gotten out and like you're aiming your or aiming at your opponents, I guess, you can swim while in that type of standby mode. Really, really nice buff. It actually may be a thing where people might use it a little bit more since you aren't as vulnerable as you were before using tenta missiles, so really nice buff. Now, the Inkjet and Bowler got the same buff. Basically, the movement response / agility has been improved, and what this means is that, I guess, once you are using your Bowler or Inkjet, while you're moving in the air or rolling around on the floor, it is much easier to make a U-turn and just go back the other way or go forward. It's just a little bit more fluid, I assume. And that's pretty much everything to do with weapon and special buffs. Special gauge meters, there's only 5 weapons that have, I guess, had some changes. The most notable ones are the Splat Roller and the Slosher Deco. Splat Roller going from 170 to 180. I mean, to be honest, it's not really that much, but I guess it affects it some way. And the Slosher Deco from going from 190 to 200. Probably going to be a thing where more people are going to have to wear special charge up a little bit more for Slosher Deco just to be able to get their ball in the first place. But overall, these patch notes, really, really interesting. I feel like that we're going to see a rise in the L3 Nozzlenoses and the H3 as well. Maybe the Hydra as well. The 52 gal as well, because everyone will know that the first couple shots from the 52 gal are going to be more accurate. So, really, really interesting buffs and nerfs all around. The majority of them were pretty much buffs, so pretty nice to see. And this is pretty much all we've received, so I'll give more of my opinion once I do the patch comparison video. And I guess when we've played the patch and we've got a little bit of a feel for it, that will be basically after this video tomorrow or the day after that. So whenever I can get that done, I'll let you guys know. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please, if you're informed, please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch, both in the description below. Do it for both if you're feeling generous. And as always, guys, this has been ThatSrb2DUDE, and I shall see you guys in a future video.